this is not really like my usual videos, I know. But I know in the past I have done a Star Wars collection video, and basically I have just been, getting rid of a lot of old things, and my sister kind of found this box that was filled with my Dragon Ball Z figures and Dragon Ball GT, and we even have some just some random assortment of things. I believe there are like those buildable figure arts in here too. Of course, they are missing pieces. They're just, basically I'm just kind of getting rid of all this stuff. And yeah, I just wanted to show you guys what we got here. And I think that would, make for a really entertaining video just because, I get to discuss my love that I had growing up for Dragon Ball Z, because for me, like, the main things used to be Dragon Ball Z, wrestling, and Star Wars. And then as I got older, it went more into wrestling, and then it went to Star Wars, and then Dragon Ball Z was always like in that top three, and then Superman was also in there too, of my interests. But I haven't really bought a lot of Dragon Ball Z things in a long time. And there is one particular figure in this box that I think I would absolutely keep just because it's really different, it's really cool. But yeah, I'm going to get into this box, and I hope you guys enjoy this. Okay, so let's get started. So right here at the top I can see that we have a TN figure. Back in the day, there used to be these, like, not like the figure arts, but they were kind of like it, these buildable Bandai figures. And the very first one I ever had, which I don't think is in this box, but he was a Gohan. And I had gotten it from, ironically, like the weirdest place I've gotten it was, I used to have speech impediment classes. And my speech teacher had always given us prizes after, a while of like doing well in our learning techniques and such. And in that box was a Gohan, and it was like adult Gohan, but when he was in like the gi that he would wear, like oh man, what's a time period I can really explain this? It's similar to the one that he wore in the latest movie in Dragon Ball Super Hero, I think it was called. I forgot. But yeah, so when I had gone to a flea market, I had found a box set of these, and I loved these back in the day because they were so unique, because, they were really, you guys just saw me break his leg. That's fucking broken, for sure. But like, yeah, they're cool because like they have like, like actual like rubber. Obviously it's like a really cheap rubber too, because it would just tear so easily. But this is TN, and yeah, for me this was my TN figure. Speaking of that same style of stuff, we have this Piccolo. I think he had the hat, but I might have dropped it or lost it. It's probably somewhere in this box, but I don't know where his foot is. But yeah, see, like, they were articulated too, which was cool. So it's like a really fun element to them. But man, some of these pieces, like this, I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't see it, but it's like sharp as hell. Like they were just never really like, they were basically like attached to like, similar to like the figure art stuff. That plastic that you just like peel it or like twist it off and stuff. But like, they're, pretty cheaply made, and so, they didn't come off as easy compared to those. So you have sharp edges and stuff. But yeah, of him growing up is in here, and if he is, it would be great for me to explain it. But yeah, moving on. Some of them are very dusty, unfortunately, but you know, that really tells you how old this box is. Oh my god. Okay, here's the thing about me. I loved, growing up, I always loved Great Saiyaman. Go on. I thought it was dope. I thought it was cool. I loved it, and just even his poses and stuff, he did like similar to like Ginyu Force and stuff, but he did his own stuff, and just all the posing was my favorite. And then the stuff with Videl, man, it's taking me back talking about Dragon Ball Z and such, because I used to love watching that on Toonami growing up, like a lot. And also, I remember watching the movies whenever they would air the movies, like BoJack and Broly and Bio Broly and shit. And my personal favorite was always Future Trunks, which that even itself is my favorite character. It's Future Trunks all the time. But yeah, and of course Great Saiyaman. Yeah, I might keep that one. Let's see what else we got. Oh shit, Vegeta, Kakarot. So you got Vegeta and his Saiyan armor, but this is like, I want to say Cell Saga or even like Android Saga, because that's when he stopped wearing the long one. He just started wearing the new Saiyan armor. And I remember being jealous of my friend because he had the Goku in the Saiyan armor. I always thought Goku looked badass in the Saiyan armor, and I'm probably not the only one who thinks so. But this was my Vegeta figure, man. I played with this all the time. Let me try to see, like, you know. Again, this is another Bandai figure. And the articulation wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible. I mean, like, that's pretty cool. And that's like, I don't know, man. Like, they used to just move so simply, too. Like, wow, I hear that. That's how you know it's old. But, yeah. I bought this, or I had gotten this when I was a kid at a store they used to have called Zone for Toys, and it was like in between Toys R Us and KB Toys, and it was like it was in like what we call Silver Lake, and man, missed that store. It had pools, they had tons of stuff, and like they even had like retro figures from like the 90s and shit. It was amazing. And yeah, that's where I got this one. A lot of my Dragon Ball Z figures came from that store, actually. Alright, let's see what else we got. Oh, he's missing his hand, but Krillin in the turtle key. He's missing his hand, like I said, but this is actually one of those buildable figure arts. My best friend had got me this one, and he came with Goku, which was awesome. It was like they're best friends and stuff, and so yeah, it was awesome. It was really cool. I wish I knew where his hand was. These were really cool because they came with like different like face molds and stuff. Like you would. I'm trying to see if I can show it to you. Oh, okay. You see how that like is the interior and stuff. You could actually take that out, like his face, and you could swap it and stuff, which was cool. And then that's how the inside of this looked. So yeah. Let's see if I can try to do this. Shit. There we go. Boom. But yeah. And I think they came with like, I think he came with a Destructo disc, you know, that you kind of just attached to his hand. Actually, I think it might have gone in his hand. But this is Trunks when he's Super Trunks, but he wasn't as muscled up here, even though he should be. But I think, and he's in the Saiyan armor, which, again, I always loved the Saiyan armor the most. I loved it more than the traditional, like, Saiyan, attire, the gi and stuff. The one that, like, Goku and Yamcha and Gohan and everyone would wear. I always liked Saiyan gear. It just looked more badass to me. But the one thing, if you'll notice, is his hands do not move, so he's stuck in this, like, bring it, like Shia LaBeouf, do it, just do it. But like, yeah, this is my boy. That's my Trunks. The reason why his hands are like that though is because he came with a freaking ship, which was dope, and like it lit up, it made sounds, it was awesome. I think I got it like Kmart and stuff. It's awesome. Oh, he's seen better days. But Majin Buu, I'm gonna say it. I personally loved Super Buu the most. I never owned Kid Buu, but I had Super Buu when he absorbed. Well, you'll see it maybe if it's in here. But dude, I loved this figure because like you could also just like squish him, like it was hollow here, and so yeah, you can. Yeah, and he came with his cape, and yeah, it's really taking me back looking at these. I don't remember when I got this. I think I got this for a birthday. I think one of my friends may have gifted it to me, but yeah, Majin Buu. Let's see. Oh, he's missing his head. What? When did this break? That's upsetting. This Deborah. He came with oh, if I remember correctly, the Majin Buu actually had come with Deborah, but as chocolate, which was neat. But yeah, Deborah's missing his head. Sorry about that. Hopefully his head's in the box. We'll see it. I can maybe glue it back on. Ooh. Ooh. I'm gonna be really completely honest with you. I don't remember what the fuck this guy's name is. I don't remember this dude. I just remembered that like my figures used to just beat the shit out of him. Like he was always the henchman that just got beat the fuck out. As you can see, like all the scratching and everything. Like I just beat the crap out of him. Which was cool, but yeah, that's how you do. Oh shit. That's my boy Bobbity. Bobbity, oh he's missing his little thing, but yeah, Bobbity. I remember he came with an orb. Yeah. And I think he came with... Did Bobbity have a weapon? I really don't remember. See, I remember watching a lot of like the... See, when I used to watch the reruns back in the early 2000s and stuff, and so yeah, it was strange, but I do remember like just seeing up until the Cell Saga over and over again, and then when I finally watched this, I was a little bit older. But I think that's how it was. I just remember like always having to restart the series again on Toonami and stuff, and I think they even aired it on WB Kids. If you know that reference, you're a real one. But it's my boy Bobbity. He was always a mischievous dude who basically was also the one who turned Vegeta into Majin Vegeta, which is my favorite form of Vegeta ever. It's Majin Vegeta. Love that shit. I've actually done a video on the new like Bandai Dragon Stars one. Those are like sufficing for me for collecting Dragon Ball stuff, but I haven't bought them in a while. Anyway. this was my Krillin for the longest time. It was Krillin from, I want to say the Majin Buu era, yeah, because this is when he has hair. Or is this in the finale? But, yeah, this was my Krillin figure. I was always a person who liked when Krillin had hair. I thought he was just a different type of dude and different type of character. But yeah, this was my Krillin growing up. Oh my god! Yo! How could I forget? I played with this figure all the time. This was the one that beat this dude's ass. This one beat this dude's ass all the time, just fucking. Vegito was the shit, guys. Vegito was amazing. I loved Vegito. Hot take, I like Vegito more than I did Gogeta. Gogeta was awesome, and I loved his attire too. I thought his attire was amazing because it was a mix of Vegeta and Goku, but it was cool. This is with the Patara earrings, if I remember correctly. I think he has them too. Hold on, let me see if you guys can see that. Yeah, see, he has the Patara earrings on the figure. But yeah, I loved Vegito. I love this figure, and that was my favorite. I think I loved when that whole arc happened when Vegito was basically just kicking Super Boo's ass all the time. That was my favorite. When I finally watched the Boo saga, that was probably my favorite part. I always loved Super Boo, but I liked when he was like absorbing Gohan or absorbing Gotenks and stuff. Okay. I know we've been talking about it, but let's really talk about it. This is the absolute figure that I will keep. I will never sell this one because of the fact that, look at that, it's felt. It's got felt, so it was for his fur. Yeah, this might be like one of the only few GT figures I owned, and even like, look at his hair, guys. Like, look at the hair on him. And he has his tail. Yeah. This is, I believe this is Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Yeah. It amazes me that they don't make hair like this. Maybe they do now, but man, when they used to do it like this back in the day, what do you know about it? And if I remember correctly, I believe this Gogeta was like a Toys R Us exclusive too. So, yeah. And I mean, like, the articulation wasn't bad. You know, I was one of those people that was never really like opposed to like articulation like this. It's simple, but you know, I didn't need it to like, you know, go all the way to the side and stuff. I mean, yes, it's nice, but I didn't need that. It was fine. It's amazing. It's great. Okay. I think we're getting towards the bottom, but oh, this was my cell. And he came with like a block of wood. And like, oh, you can hear that clicking, because ironically, he used to do, or I don't know if he can do it now, but if I remember correctly, it was, you pushed something. I don't remember if it was fins, or fins, not fins, wings, or if it was like a motion. I don't remember how to do it. But he used to have what was called a corkscrew blast, and then he would just break the wood with it. It was like a gimmick toy, but it was great. Okay, who else? Oh, this is the also missing hands. I don't know why a lot of my stuff is missing hands, guys. I really don't know. But this is the figure arts one. This is the buildable ones. So, yeah. The one thing I hated about this, the only thing I really did not like about this, is that the wings just keep falling down. was there, like the tube or whatever the hell it is, they used to use to, like absorb like the, like 17 and 18. It just kept falling off. So, yeah. But it's really neat. I am so sorry about that. But you see now what I mean about the wings just sucking. So, yeah. Moving on. We don't got a lot left in here. Oh, another figure. I don't know where the bottom half of his body is, but this is Final Form Frieza. I always liked Frieza as a villain, but my personal favorite before I had known like what he looked like or like how long his arc was when he was Cyborg Frieza. Because that's the one I had as a kid. This is much later, but yeah. It's ironic because you're kind of seeing like how durable like the old figures were compared to like the newer stuff. So you're seeing it in real time. What the hell? It's like oh man, maybe someone remembers what this is. I think he's missing his hair. Yeah, he had long blonde hair. This was one of my Mega Man figures. I do not remember this dude's name. I forgot his name. I already forgot his name, but I thought Mega Man was cool at the time. And there used to be I want to say it's For You Kids. No, what was it called? For Kids. For Kids. It was called For Kids. Cartoon back in the day. Or was it also on Disney? They used to also air it on like Disney, on ABC, like on Disney on ABC, like in the morning and stuff. They used to have this and Spider-Man and stuff. It was cool, but he was on that, and I remember watching that. So yeah, that's why it's in there, I guess. I don't know. I do not know. I don't remember. I don't have any answers. It's Super Saiyan 3 Goku for sure. But if anyone has any answer as to what this is or where it came from, I don't even think this was made. You know what this might be? It might be like one of those like random toys I've been given like from a family member in like Peru and stuff. Because they did do things like this, like in, Peru and other countries. They just always had like properties and stuff, and they just made whatever the fuck they wanted. So yeah, that's horrifying. Also, can we talk about the fact that how come when Goku turned into Super Saiyan 3, he lost his eyebrows? Why did he lose his eyebrows? I always wondered that. Like, no other form does he lose his eyebrows other than 3. Oh shit. Yo, it's my only GT figure. It's Kid Goku. I'm gonna tell you right now, I hated Kid Goku. Not like hated like Dragon Ball Kid Goku. I hated the fact that they decided to make Goku a kid again for his adventures with Pan in GT. I was just like, and then also, the only time he turned into an adult was when he turned into Super Saiyan 4. Why? I thought that was really stupid. But I did enjoy GT. I loved Baby Vegeta a lot. And Super 17, holy crap, dude. What a character. But, yeah. I thought this was a cool figure, though, because he had come with, I want to say Omega Shenron, but, like, the red version. And I always liked this because, like, how glossy the paint was on this. Like, the glossy paint application was really cool. Or it really struck out to me as a kid. Yeah. Holy crap. my speech class, and I broke it, and so my dad put a screw in it so that it went back into place. And yeah, my dad used to do stuff like that a lot, where he would just fix my figures with like fucking like screws and stuff. If I ever find my like old DC figures, you'd really see what I mean. Oh my god, these were like really cool. They were like something like that one I showed you. These were like my main toys. I had like a bunch of these little ones before I got like the Bandai stuff. I had gotten these little dudes. So this is like Super Saiyan Go tanks. And yeah, they had come with like this really interesting like set. I had never seen it before, but it was like a ooze thing. No, I'm lying. This didn't come with that. I'm thinking about something else. Those were smaller, but this was like they were like minifigures. I had this one. I had Goku. I had Hercule. And I don't remember who else. But yeah, those are the ones I had of these. Oh, Mr. Popo. Yeah, Mr. Popo. Yeah. What do you guys know about this? Did anybody else, have a Satch Bell book? I used to love Satch Bell. This was one of my favorite shows. Oh my god. Yo Bobo. Gyo Takamani. I don't remember. There he is, Satch Bell. I remember. Yeah. I remember this was like, for me, this was my Pokemon. Sakir. Where's the car? Checkmate. Man, these are old. Oh, I remember this dude used to freak me out. I love this dude. I used to love this. I used to love this show. There's very few people I know that knew it, which blew my mind. It's that and Bobobo. Bobobo. I forgot his name. I think I have his card in here too. No, I have a book for him. I'm lying. I remember having a book. I don't know if that book is in here, but this one's in here. This is Satch Bell's spell book. Yeah. I was big on this, and I was big on Yu-Gi-Oh, which I think there might be a Yu-Gi-Oh thing in here, possibly. I'm not speaking of. Bragu. This was his spell book. Oops. I think I had. I can't grab them. They're such thick. Sherry. That was his person. Kiyosakar. Oh yeah, I had another Satch Bell. So yeah, I had two. Rashield. This was my favorite. I don't remember how to play this though. And I remember that was like part of it. And I didn't have many other cards, but yeah. This was cool as hell. I used to love Satch Bell. Okay. Ooh, he doesn't have a face anymore. What happened to his face? But this was the Goku that comes with the Krillin. I wish I knew where his face was. Wow, what the hell? Yeah, that is quite stretchy. Stretchy. Well, clicky-clacky, whatever the hell you want to call it. But yeah, the articulation was cool on these. I do remember that. And it was really a fun time to build it. And this is like Goku just kind of like waving and saying hi. I remember that was the expression I used to put on it. But yeah, I don't know what I did with that. Oh, this was the Vegito, part of that like ooze thing I was talking about. It was like a really cool, like big Majin Buu set, and it had like slime or ooze was always like a parody of like Hulk Hogan and stuff. Or like a parody of him and Macho Man. It just felt like that was what they were doing with this, but I'm sure that he, had other origins that I don't personally know. I should read into like the inspiration for these characters. I mean, obviously, I know the inspiration for Dragon Ball, but I read that in college. Yeah, that's Hercule. Another Goku. This one. Okay, see these. This is cool. Missing his hair, but this was my very first buildable figure arts figure. My best friend bought me this one too, and bought me this for Christmas, and it was cool because he came with a Kamehameha little like ball that you put to his hands, and it was really cool because it really did look like he was holding it, and yeah, and that's why his hands are like that, because it held the ball, and it held it like perfectly in between. So yeah. Okay, so this is a Polly Pocket head from one of my sister's Polly Pockets, and it is on an Android 18 body, and I'll tell you why. I lost the head, or broke it, and I lost the head. My mom must have thrown it out or something, and I was really upset. So then my dad glued this head on, which I'm surprised has been on for so many freaking years. It's gotta be like a decade or more. And he spray painted the hair yellow or like gold. Yeah. But this was basically my Android 18. I used to just, yeah. It was a time. Okay. Let me explain this, Goku. I was randomly shopping one time with my mom at a Pathmark. We want to say like back in like 2008, and at this point I had stopped collecting like Dragon Ball Z stuff, just stopped, and it was the most random thing I found on a shelf once. It wasn't even like it belonged to someone. Like, I'm not saying that like, it was sold there. I mean, I found it, and it was the most random figure I've ever found, and I don't remember what it's supposed to go to, but if I was to guess, it probably went to one of my absolute favorite figures that they did back in the day that I never owned. And what it was they had one of Goku, they had one of Vegeta, and I forgot who else they had one of. But what it was these little figures, and they would go inside of the figure like a rubber suit so that they could be Super Saiyan. And I never owned one. My friend owned the Vegeta, and I was so jealous because of the fact that like we were like 7 years old or something, and I was losing my mind about how cool it was to like take this figure out and put it back in, and just it was cool. And I always kept the rubber on them because I liked Super Saiyan a lot. So yeah, I want to guess that's what this is from. Maybe someone else will be like, no, actually, it's from this, and I'm okay with you answering that because I don't know where the hell this is from. But yeah, I had gotten this randomly at a grocery store. Oh, speaking of my boy, we were just talking about him. Y'all, it's Cyborg Frieza, or Mecha Frieza. I forgot what they called him. It's been so long, but yeah. This was my Frieza figure growing up. This was my Frieza. He's missing his tail. I had broken a lot of things as a kid. Sometimes by accident, sometimes like just playing too rough, but it was just because obviously not like, I'm gonna say something. The playstyle I hated, let me show you. So as a kid, I know this is like randomly inserted here in this video of going through this box, but I want to get through this. As a kid, I hated when I would bring my figures to school and the kids would play with my figures like this. I'm trying to be like quiet because I was like, that's not what they do. For me, I was just like, and then like, you know, like key blast, and then like, like, you know what I mean? I used to make that sound a lot. It would be like, now I'm using it like wrestling. I know I'm doing that, but like, I'm just trying to prove a point. Or like, when like they would punch each other and stuff, you'd be like, and like, you know, like, and then, you know, that's what I mean. Like, that's how you played with these guys. It was Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z was all of that. And of course, the occasional grunting while they changed forms. I think the bottom of the box. So let's see what we got in here. Oh, we got a Teen Gohan. Again, this is a figure arts. I think this is the only. Oh no, missed in the back of his head, but it's all right. From the front, you can see this. I believe came with. Excuse me. This, I believe, actually came with the cell that you guys have seen earlier. One of the very last figures I had bought, or not bought, but had been gifted or given as a kid was a 2-pack of Goku, and of course, one of my all-time favorite characters from the like universe or mythos of just like legends of Dragon Ball Z and such is, and I'm missing his scanner. It was Bardock. Yeah. The father of Goku and Raditz. I hated Raditz. I never owned Raditz. I never known. For a kid who loved Dragon Ball Z, there was a lot of figures I didn't own. I know he's not in here, but I did own a Captain Ginyu, but he was the only one of the Ginyu Force I owned. I did not. I only had an Android 17 and a Android 18, even though he's not in this box, but I did have him because he was a 2-pack with the Android 18. But I never owned 20 or 19 or Dr. Giro. None of those. And I also never owned a Nappa or a Yamcha. I just never owned those, despite being central characters, of course. I would have liked to, but I didn't. Or a Gigi. The list goes on of who I didn't have, but I did have, and I was one of the only kids who had a freaking Bardock figure, and all my friends used to play with this one the most, because everyone agrees Bardock is dope as hell. Let's really like close examine this figure. The head sculpt is not wonderful, but he did have the scanner, and his tail is cool. Wraps around, and you could actually unwrap it, and it would be like that. Like, yeah, his articulation was cool. And like, I missed this type of pivot, like this type of like thing, but yeah. Figures I wish I did own. I wish I owned like Cooler or what the hell was his name? Broly. I never owned a Broly. Always wish I did. But anyway, guys, that is all the figures in this box. Remember what I said about Yu-Gi-Oh? If you know what this did, I do not. But I remember these were really cool. My grandmother gifted me this when I was like a kid. So yeah, that's that Yu-Gi-Oh thing I was talking want to see more stuff, I've actually found my Star Wars, like old comic books, like the Legends stuff, what is considered Legends now. I found those, but also like some that my friend gave me or let me borrow that I never gave back, which I'm like, I'm finally gonna give back to him, which I hope he is excited for. But also, I also have my pops that I'm gonna be giving away too, and maybe you guys might want to see a big, like, video of like the big container I have of those. Maybe I could do that. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, this is Split saying peace.